Hi, glad we're live. Just going to wait for a few people to show up. But today we're going to be talking about supplements that work, that are scientifically backed to work for the prevention and the amelioration of SARS Cov-2. So we're going to start with vitamin D. This one has K in it, which we're going to talk about later. Vitamin D, and then this combo of zinc and quercetin, and I'm going to explain to you why you want to be doing this and which version that you want of both of these things. All right, can never forget the trusty vitamin C. Yep, and again, I'm going to talk about how to dose for this. One you may not have heard of is this trusty combo, which has been being studied and it's been used for a long time in Ayurvedic medicine. It's honey and black seed oil. This is also really good for your hair, make your hair grow. So it's sort of an added bonus. And then, green tea. Can't forget green tea. It kind of has a similar action. This is just the extract of green tea, but you can also do real green tea. And then this is a great one to have around because they really think it might help with the cytokine storm of SARS Cov-2. All right, so I'm going to bring up my document so you guys can see this and just sort of talk to you about what we've got here. So there we go. All right, so vitamin D. Studies show that the mortality rates from COVID-19 increase with a vitamin D deficiency. So a list of 40 studies shows that vitamin D has the effect of reducing the risk of infection, reducing the probability of a severe case, and reducing death from COVID-19. So the single best prophylaxis for COVID-19 is vitamin D. Basically, if you know you're deficient in vitamin D, if you've already had a blood test and they told you that, you can take a higher dose than this. But I start with this one, which is 5,000 milligrams of vitamin D, and it has the K in it. And the K just makes the vitamin D more absorbable. So you do want to find one that has it in it. And I will link these down at the bottom because I do spend a lot of time vetting my supplements. And I actually really think these are very high quality and I highly recommend them. All right, the other one, which is a little gem, is this one. It's quercetin with the zinc, but we'll just start with the quercetin now. This is really interesting, okay? It's a naturally occurring flavonoid, which is a plant-based product. Research has demonstrated that quercetin is a powerful immune booster and a broad-spectrum antiviral, so that's been known for a while. Now, specifically what it does to the SARS Cov-2 virus is quercetin helps by stopping the virus from getting through the ACE2 receptor sites. I'm sure you've heard about the ACE2 receptor sites. So in effect, what it's doing is it's closing the door on the virus, okay? It's not letting it replicate and get more powerful and create a problem for you. So you got to do this early on. You want to do it right away if you get sick. You want to do it prophylactically. Have this in your body so the virus can't get in. Okay, just to go over the studies again, in silico and in vitro studies demonstrated that quercetin can interfere with various stages of the coronavirus entry and replication system. And the other thing about quercetin is that it plays a role in facilitating zinc transportation across lipid membranes. So it's really a zinc ionophore. And you'll probably hear that a lot because you want to get the zinc into your cells, all right? So that brings us to zinc. Well, let me actually get the dosing for you for quercetin. So quercetin was already been studied for Ebola and Zika, okay? And they were using a dose, and it was working. It does work. Studies have demonstrated that. Researchers were using a dose of 3,000 to 7,000 milligrams a day, which is a very high dose. The recommended dose for quercetin is 1,000 milligrams a day, taken with the zinc, okay? So let's go on to zinc. Studies have also shown for a long time that zinc is good for viral infections and it plays a key role in the immune function. Now, when you get a cold, you've probably been told to take zinc. There's a reason for that. It does work. You might take zinc lozenges. Now, the thing, when you take it with quercetin, it helps the zinc penetrate the cells. So quercetin is helping the zinc get in. And because zinc actually has a hard time entering your cell because of the positive ionic charge. So again, this is a synergistic thing. You want to use both of them together. The mechanism of action. For the COVID-19 virus to reproduce, once it enters our cells, an enzyme called RNA-dependent RNA polymerase makes more copies of the virus. However, zinc inhibits this enzyme, and at high enough concentrations with the cell, it may entirely inhibit the virus from replicating. Okay, great. Great news. Let's get some zinc in our body. Now, zinc sulfate, you want 50 milligrams one time a day, or if you can find elemental zinc, but this is actually really great. I highly recommend it. I will, again, link this at the bottom. Hard to find the zinc sulfate, actually. All right, vitamin C. Vitamin C. Spelled that wrong here. Let's fix that. All right, vitamin C. Many studies have shown this is effective in treating coronaviruses, and hospitals have been using it intravenously for SARS Cov-2. In case you haven't heard that, they actually have been using it. Now, it's a water-soluble vitamin. So the idea is to have a very high dose. You must have it in your system throughout the day, meaning if it's water-soluble, it's going to extricate, you're going to secrete it out through your urine pretty quickly. So the idea is to take a little bit consistently throughout the day. So to keep your system, I take 3,000 buffered upon waking. After that, I take 2,000 every half hour. This is if I were sick, if I felt sick. 2,000 every half hour until bowel tolerance. I do have a video, I'll link it down below, about how to get to bowel tolerance for vitamin C. So yes, I say the first time you do this, it is best to write down the amount and time yourself. You need to find your dose, so you need to see how much you need until you get to bowel tolerance. But I like to just have some vitamin C floating in my system all the time. I wake up, I have a little bit of the buffered because I don't have anything in my stomach right now, and then I take this throughout the day. All right, let's just go back to the studies. There are studies that show vitamin C can help with viral pneumonia and sepsis. Vitamin C can be very powerful when it's taken in an efficacious dose. And hospitals have also been using it for sepsis, and it's curing sepsis. All right, one study showed less organ failure when using vitamin C for patients hospitalized with SARS Cov-2. And again, this is another one of those synergistic vitamins. This works in a synergistic way with quercetin. A study published last month in Frontiers of Immunology strongly supports the combined administration of vitamin C and quercetin for SARS Cov-2 or COVID-19 patients. Okay, now melatonin. This has just been kind of advertised a lot. So you just take that at bedtime. You don't have to take very much according to the dosing that they tell you. I actually take a lot because I also take it to sleep. So I take a certain amount. I take actually 10, almost 10 a night. All right, now we're going to move on. Those are like I would take those every day if I were you and it was this time of year. These are some sort of added benefit ones. So the NAC, which I touched on very, very briefly at the beginning of this, NAC. Basically, it is known to have an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and immune-modulating characteristics that may prove beneficial in the treatment and prevention of SARS Cov-2. Really, what they think it does is this. They think that NAC may be helpful in preventing the cytokine storm. So again, if you test positive and you're home and they're telling you to do nothing, that's not true. There's plenty you can do. I would be taking this. All right, this is another, sort of acts in the same way as quercetin. This is my green tea extract, EGCG. Basically, it's green tea extract. You can also take green tea. It has the same action or a similar action to quercetin. It blocks the virus from entering your cells, and then it can't replicate. So there you go. Now, this one is really interesting because it is supported by studies, and it's an Ayurvedic remedy. So they call it Nigella sativa. That's the herbal name, but it is black cumin seed. And you're supposed to take that with the honey, And this has been around, this has been used for medicinal purposes in Ayurvedic medicine for centuries. Okay, so the components of this plant are known for its intense immune regulatory, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant benefits, especially in respiratory disorders. A molecular docking study also gave evidence that cumin, black cumin seed, decelerates COVID-19 and might give the same or better results than using the FDA-approved drugs. I mean, that's incredible. All right. Okay, a team of researchers from the various institutes across Pakistan, Chile, Canada, and the United States recently conducted a clinical trial to investigate the potential effectiveness of a combination of honey and Nigella sativa, in treating COVID-19 patients. And the study results show that honey plus black cumin seed helped with symptoms alleviation, but it also helped with true viral clearance, and it reduced mortality in patients with moderate and severe disease. That sounds very promising to me. The dose is 80 milligrams a kilogram a day. For me, that turns out to be about 5 or 6 of these pills a day. You can also just take the little seeds. That's what they do in India. Just in general, they just pop those seeds. You can put those in salads and different things. But again, it's also really good for your hair. So those are the ones that I would have in my arsenal right now. I would be taking them as a prophylactic. I have been taking them since the very beginning as a prophylactic. And they actually, what I want to impress upon you is that it actually has scientific, here I'm going to go back to the screen. It really does have a scientific backing. This is not just like, oh, take vitamin C, take zinc, which you would take if you had the common cold. You would probably think to take vitamin C and zinc, and you would be right, because there are real reasons. So just to make sure for people that might be hearing that there aren't scientific reasons behind these things, there are, and the studies have been going on long before even this particular SARS and this particular coronavirus. A lot of this has already been studied for other SARS infections, Ebola, as I already said, Zika, other viral infections. These are antivirals, and we do have an arsenal at our disposal. So I hope you guys really take this information to heart and get what you need to keep yourself healthy, because we can all have control over our own health. Okay, bye.